Now don't be mistaken, we are still in Wuyuan County, but this whole forest area reminds me of forests that I've been to in Europe, and it's quite impressive to be out here in sort of mild weather, but better not spend too long before I get lost and you never hear from me again, so I'm going to go and find a tour guide. Xiaoyu! In the majority of the foreign guidebooks, you'll find that there are only a few lines on Wuyuan County, and they tend to direct you to the profound villages like Cexi, Xiaolikeng, Xiaoqi, etc, etc. But much of the charm of touring Wuyuan is to lose yourself scouring the county for new villages to visit or even chance upon. It definitely won't be as tourist orientated, but you'll get to witness people going about their daily lives in new and interesting settings. Many of the houses here are intriguing in the way that tradition and modernity sit quite literally side by side. You have classic ornaments and paintings which are poised beside televisions, and life goes on, undisturbed. Villages like this might not have many or even any facilities for tourists, so your best bet is to let your tour guide help you. In many ways, this is the great thing about travelling blindfolded, as I like to think of it. If you're lucky, you'll encounter something strange and different like we did. You'll find the architecture is consistent throughout Wuyuan County, and even the most remote villages will have traces of Huizhou-style houses. However, that doesn't mean there isn't a little space for some upgrading. As we find out when we are welcomed into a modern, renovated house nestled among traditional rural homes. It's another little Wuyuan surprise. It's surreal to say the least. This reminds me a bit of the renovated hutongs in Beijing, with classic courtyard home architecture, and then 5-star modern refurbishments on the inside. In some ways, it's the best of both worlds. The outside of the house certainly still has traces of this architecture. Renovation for this 4-story building set the family back 200,000 renminbi, or the price of a stone. But don't worry if you have no idea what I'm talking about. All will become clear soon.
All the kids love me, yay!
Well, I've made it quite clear that a tour guide is not indispensable, but certainly very useful if you're touring Wuyuan County. I would also recommend hiring your own minibus, as most spots tend to be around 3 hours from the county capital, but dispersed around. Well, inevitably, we were hit with a bit of solid British weather, also known as annoyingly drizzly rain. There is not much singing in the rain going on here.
Most people don't really like the rain, and I'm one of those people, except that I happen to be sat on what it can only be described as one of the greatest inventions of all time. Forget sliced bread, forget cars and computers. I'm sat on a heated chair, or a bum warmer, as I like to call it. So I'm extremely relaxed, but why don't you guys come over here a sec? Come over. I'm feeling far too relaxed, but there's some stony things that you're not going to want to miss on this journey. Go and look for yourself.
Coming in all shapes and sizes, as well as varying quite drastically in price, the ink tablet symbolises the town of Yanshan. It lies in the northeast of Wuyuan County, and is the home of the quality stones that make up these precious goods.
Hey, 你好。
你好。
这个是
楼的声音，不是这个好。你像这个声音，
Okay. Alright, so he's explaining that how he chooses which stone is going to be turned into an ink tablet is through the sound. So he listens out for the density, and he's saying that this one is good. So ladies and gentlemen, and Jacob, he's saying that one's bad. So let's give it the test. Okay, do you hear that? Alright, that's clear. That's clear. This one's mine.
This might look like your typical living room, but the whole village is in the ink tablet business, so it's no surprise to see the entire place filled with the polished stones ready to be turned into ink tablets. Like a lot of houses in Wuyuan, it's a typical life and work layout, the two seemingly becoming one in places like this. Our friend put so much care into his stones, it's no surprise that Yanshan is so renowned for its ink tablet. Well, some of the rarer, more expensive stones are never turned into ink tablets, but are simply kept as treasured ornaments. The four-story house we just visited is the same value to renovate as the priciest stone in here, which is valued at 200,000 RMB. New house or polished stone? It's a tough choice. Of course, a lot do get turned into ink tablets, and the process is slow and intricate. This is reflected in the overall price. They're coming straight to the town of Yanshan. You will be more likely to pick up a bargain. This little village is becoming more and more developed thanks to its burgeoning ink tablet business. Therefore, you will increasingly find accommodation here in the shape of family hotels. They remind me of local British bread and breakfasts for those of you who have ever been to the UK.
So that is the intricate process of making an ink tablet, and this one's going to be ready to go up into the shop any time now.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Right, so it's back to what I love best, cooking and food.
Our chefs for the day. Without a doubt, one of the things I love the most about travelling is the experience of tasting new food wherever you go. And I'm here in the Lion's Den, about to check out some of the foods that the chefs are about to cook for us. But the great thing is, they've just got fresh vegetables. Everything here is organic. So they're cooking with fresh vegetables, and I actually can't wait to taste it. Oh, it's going to taste good. Yeah. The rice flour. Woo! Oh man, that actually smells really good. Kind of, there's steaming stuff in here. I'm afraid it's just going to be me that's going to be enjoying that food, I'm afraid.
This is Hu Tsai, And the taste is very smooth thanks to a combination of flour and Chinese butter. It's actually the first time that I've seen vegetables cooked in this way. There's a diversity of foods everywhere in Wuyuan. It's a great taste at an even greater price. Definitely won't be like any Chinese food you will have had tasted abroad. To me, the food tour in itself is worth it alone. Now, I'm not going to call it a gastronomical haven filled with Michelin-starred chefs. But if you're looking for something a little different that you won't have tried before, eat your way around Wuyuan County.
Spicy. 辣的。辣的。你喜欢辣的吗？喜欢辣。我也喜欢。我真的喜欢辣的。She loves spicy stuff. Brilliant. As do I. I love spicy stuff. How good does all of this look? Now, you can actually see what we've got here: a bit of fish, fried fish, organic vegetables, and this is one of my favourite things: chicken in a type of soup. The funny thing about this chicken is that actually the chickens around here are not kept in captivity. They're just allowed to roam free. They feed off things that people give them and stuff. But anyway, I'm too hungry to really introduce anymore. So go on, food time, food.
That entire feast will set you back less than 200 kwai.
Come on, eat. Let's go.
The flowers attracted me to Wuyuan, in a very manly way, of course. But I had an incredible one-week trip. Because Wuyuan really is a hidden gem. And this may be reflected in the lack of foreigners. But if you're looking for fresh air, spectacular scenery, and great food, then look no further.
Well, I think it's quite fitting that we should be finishing our programme here today in the middle of a rapeseed flower field, where we've watched the flowers bloom whilst we've been here, but they're now very quickly withering away. Soon, the seeds will be turned into canola oil, rapeseed oil, which is the same thing, and animal feed, and even biodiesel. Anyway, I'm Mark Edwards, and I really hope you've enjoyed watching our little adventure around Wuyuan County. I'll see you very soon on another episode of Travelogue.